in my account right here today as we speak, I'm gonna be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and you're like, yeah, I played 10 years in the league. And I always explain this to people, I'm like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use,
Save,
save,
invest.
invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna get my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really 40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting 8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position, like, oh, well, that.
What's your thoughts on that, brother?
Well, first off, you know, um, this goes back to why I say, something that I say all the time to everybody, not just, us in the black community, but especially us, the black community, is that you have got to stop worshiping black entertainers and athletes, especially when it comes to your financial independence and financial literacy. Stop it, because this has to be some of the worst financial advice I have ever heard in my life. And it just proves me right when I say is that, all of these, black entertainers and athletes and anything, they're false gods. And me, I was raised in the church. I'm not a Christian now. I have my own understanding of, the cosmos, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I've had my own spiritual journey, been an atheist or anything, but I have deep respect for wisdom that is in the Bible. And, I understand why the first commandment is thou shalt have no other gods before me. And this video proves it, because I can already hear a lot of other black people who think like him, who are not as rich as him, thinking, see, even he says it, it's not that much money and da 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 da. Another thing it proves to me is that he clearly has no respect for money, because me, and this is something everybody out there know about me, I'm miserly, and I'm proud of it. I have no shame of it. I have no shame in wearing shoes for 2-3 years until there's holes in them. I have no shame in going to the grocery store and thinking about every single thing I need is if I need it or do I want it, and having a budget every time I go out. I have no shame in not taking a trip if I need to save for an investment at all. I have no shame in that. But when I hear Odell Beckham, watching that video and hear him talk, makes me think it's like, man, you really have no respect for money, because even with $40 million, you can invest. Like I say, let's forget about Bitcoin, for example. You could buy real estate, reasonable real estate from where you're from or across the country. You can invest in, even though I don't encourage them, let's say a 401k reasonably. You could buy, other forms of investment like stocks, gold, or whatever, but especially Bitcoin. And he's up here saying that $100 million isn't enough. Like, it kind of infuriates me, especially coming from where we come from, coming from Detroit, being used to not having it all the time. You know, I know somebody like me, $40 million, that'll last me the rest of our life. That money will outlast me. As to where now most people are going to outlast their money. No, $40 million will outlast me. And another point I want to make is that watching this video, to anybody out there, you have to learn how to respect money. You know, you just have to learn how to respect it. I always say those who respect money will have a prosperous life. Don't look at it as the root of all evil, because it's not. People misunderstand that translation. But like I said, you have to respect money, especially when it comes to having freedom to do what you want to do in life, and elevating above the financial prison and the financial stranglehold that the powers that be have on us right now. And like I say, when it comes from an investment perspective, having respect for money will put you ahead of so many other people when it comes to investing, especially in this game we call Bitcoin. So that's basically, all I have to say about that. Like I say, it's just bad financial advice from, like I say, another rich entertainer, athlete. It's really just an illusion. I tell people, don't pay attention to somebody like him. Like I say, because you pay attention to somebody like him, you'll never learn how to be grateful for what you have. Like, I have some money in my wallet right now. $4 that I get from my job. I collect change that's in the car that the customers leave when they return cars. And usually, I ain't gonna lie, save it up, buy me a pre roll or something. But today I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna spend this money. I'm gonna keep on collecting this change, stack it up, and have it in my wallet and see, I've been doing this for months. What if I just don't spend it? You know? And I'm thinking like, I could put this towards Bitcoin or something else more useful. I can't sit around here and say that, oh, well, this isn't enough money, but it's like, man, I just collected $20 on a weekend change in this car. It's like, I could spend that on, like I say, on something instead of out of my regular paycheck. Now I could put this on Bitcoin, and now I'm ahead. Now that money I was going to spend on that, I already put it towards Bitcoin, and I can put it towards something else like paying off a credit card, which will then give me more of my paycheck that I can put towards Bitcoin, and I'll be ahead of everybody else. You see, what I'm saying? It's because it's having that respect for money, for what it is, and being grateful for every cent, every dollar that you come across. Like, I got two nickels right here that I found at work. I'm gonna put this to the side, stack up some more change, turn it into singles, put it to my investments. So that's all I have to say. Is, like I say, you just got to have respect for money. Don't ever think, like, oh, this ain't enough. Well, then when is enough enough? You say 100 million ain't enough? Well, what, you need a billion? Then people will complain about that. Oh, it's gonna get taxed, stuff like that. Like I say, you got to control yourself. He clearly sounds like he doesn't know how to control himself. 'Cause like I say, I'm miserly as hell. I'm cheap as hell. I'm not buying no Lamborghinis. Those are terrible cars on gas anyway. They draw too much attention. Honestly, like I say, I would just buy me a regular house, ducked off somewhere, and put the rest, like you say, and take care of my affairs, take care of the people I want to, and I'd even be stern with them too. Say, look, I'm giving you this money one time. You mess it up, don't call me no more. Don't ask me for nothing else, because I gotta go and put the rest of what I have here into this thing that I was trying to tell you to invest in, which is Bitcoin. So yeah, that's my rant.
Man, I appreciate you sharing your perspective. I was humbled after having lunch with a millionaire one day. We were at Ivy's Kitchen down on Jefferson Avenue near downtown Detroit. We walking out of the restaurant, and this guy sees a fucking dime on the ground. And he bends down to pick it up and put it in his pocket. And I was extremely humbled that day because here I am thinking I'm too good to reach down and bend over and pick up some change. But this millionaire took time out to do just that. And so that's when I realized my perception of money was skewed. Um, I had become entitled to thinking that I was too good to collect the nickels and dimes and pennies, but nickels and dimes add up to dollars. That's what every millionaire and hardworking billionaire understands. So there's an old African mantra that says, if there's no enemy within, then the enemy outside can do you no harm. So your biggest enemy is hiding right in the last place that you would think to look.
Mm,
That is your ego. To say that $100 million over 5 years or $60 million over 5 years uh, isn't quite enough. It just all comes down to ego, your
yeah,
biggest enemy. And your ego can trick you into thinking that, well, since I make 60 million over the next 5 years, I can live $100 million lifestyle.
you
A lot
can
of
be
these people, a lot of their lifestyles are probably propped up off American Express
consumerism.
credit.
Yep, consumerism too. Like, I tell people, just because you make more money, we have to stop going by that old phrase, oh, the more money you make, the more money you spend. I'm like, says who? Like, you don't have to spend more money just because you made more money. Like, if I, like, with the way the economy is right now, if I was making 100,000 a year, I honestly would still stay in this apartment, because that way I would keep more of my. I'm already going to be taxed making $100,000 a year. So if I figure, well, why would I buy a house for 150,000 when I could just stay here and rent really stack my cash up, buy a house cash to where it wouldn't hurt me. And in the meantime of stacking this money to buy the house, I can keep investing in Bitcoin. I can keep, my lifestyle simple. I can stay frugal. Like, it doesn't mean you have to spend that. That's just, that's from the religion of consumerism that we live in, that we live by in our society. I tell people, like, it's all like I say, false prophets, like the title of this video. And both ways, false prophets, the people telling you these words, telling you these lessons, saying that they have your best interest and they don't. And false prophets in the sense of financially, you think that, oh well, I got this money, I can do this with it. Don't be fooled. It's always a deeper game here. Like I said, you have to learn how to control your thoughts when it comes to money. And that goes in back to what I was saying, is having respect for it and seeing it for what it is. And it's a tool. Just like a gun, it's a tool. Now it has an obvious use, but then there are other uses you can use for it too, to where it's like, okay, if I use it for this, obviously I'm gonna get this reaction. But if I use it for this, I can actually solve some other problems to where I don't have to use it for that. You know? And like I say, it's just people have to learn how to respect this thing. Even Bitcoin, I tell people, respect it. Once you get it, don't use it as a status symbol. It's more than a status symbol. This is something that human beings have prayed for from the dawn of time, especially like, in the modern era, let's say from the 1700s on to now, to where it's like, we've had many economic recessions and depressions and people trying to protect their assets. They lose everything. They're on the street, homeless or whatever. And now we have this thing, like I say, you have to respect the what's the word I'm trying to say? You have to respect the gift that God gives you. Don't ever take it for granted. And that's whether it be fiat money or Bitcoin. Like I say, use it for what it is. Nothing more, nothing less.
I think also too we have to really redefine money because we were told what money was. We were forced to accept what our definition of money was, and for a lot of people, that's dollars. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
Even though there are 200 different currencies that exist out there, from pesos to yuans to rubies,
Yeah.
ruples and yens and Togolese dollar, like there's so many different currencies out there, and we've been taught what to think money actually is. So we allowed men with guns and weaponry to tell us that the US dollar is money, and they force us to accept it as legal tender. But the reality is, throughout human history, money was always created by God. Am I lying? From seashells to tulips to horses, cattle to gold, silver, these things were created by God. Then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, man wanted to get involved and say, no, I think this is money. This is what we're going to use. This is the standard. Take it or leave it. And if you leave it, you can literally be jailed for refusing to take fiat currency as a form of payment. You can literally be jailed. So once we understand that what we were told was money is not actually money, now we can actually have a more broader conversation. It, when you ask about what money is, money has to satisfy specific characteristics to
Mm-hmm.
even be classified as a worthwhile money to want to have and to hold. The one of the characteristics is scarcity. If your money that you choose to hoard is not scarce, if Jojo down the street can make it in his mom's basement, if he can replicate it and trade it for goods and services, it's not a good form of money. It needs to be scarce. It needs to be hard to obtain. That's what hard money is. It's not easy to obtain. Outside of being scarce, it also needs to be recognizable. People should be able to lay eyes on it and immediately recognize it
Like gold.
as
Mm-hmm.
like gold or like dollars. Keep in mind, this is why dollars work globally, because it satisfies most of these characteristics. Um, it does satisfy the recognizability factor. The next one is portability. Fiat currencies were designed to satisfy the portability feature that money actually needed to operate. I need to be able to conveniently and efficiently move this unit through time and space. Durability, as I move this unit through time and space, I need it to not lose its form. So this is why I can't use organic compounds. I can't use fruit as a form of currency. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I can't trust it to last past a week. So that wouldn't be a good store of value. And
Mm-hmm.
then lastly is it needs to have what they call uh, uniformity. And pretty much uniformity is where each unit looks exactly the same. So if I break off a piece of gold, I can easily identify it as a piece of gold. It's easily, I shouldn't have $1 that's purple and $1 that's pink, like Monopoly money. I'm like, wait, does that change the value? So it also needs uniformity. So scarcity, portability, durability, recognizability, and uniformity are like the five top characteristics that money needs to satisfy in order to be a good store of value. And most fiat currencies can't get past the first one that I named, which is scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
Most fiat currencies are no longer scarce. They're everywhere. And by that being the case, it's very difficult for them to retain value. So ain't it kind of funny how if you decided you were going to live a frugal and disciplined lifestyle and put your money away and tuck it away and be a good old boy and not spend it, not fall for consumerism, ain't it funny how you still get punished?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how the money still gets siphoned away from you through inflation?
And reckless
That
money.
that is insidious. Like not enough people are up in an uproar about that. We need to be fucking enraged by that. This is why Henry Ford said if we all realize that what banks are up to, there will be a fucking revolution before tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
He
Mm-hmm.
literally said he understood that. And this is what we're going to spend the next several years, probably decades, trying to get people to understand. And that's going to be a battle as we rewire the brains of all of these zombies who are pretty much asleep and on autopilot in this US dollar system, this fiat currency system, this standard that we've allowed ourselves to fall into. And it's affected our lifestyles in ways that we can't even begin to measure. It's changed our family traditions in ways that we never even expected. We used to be able to go over one person's house for the holidays, but now we don't have a holiday celebration if everybody's not able to pitch in something. So just because of inflation alone, it's changed how we have to celebrate now, how we communicate with each other, how we see each other, how fast we need goals to happen. When you're in a broken money system, goals have to happen very rapidly to satisfy your high time preference or your low time preference. But when you have a higher time preference, Bitcoin is going to change the consciousness of so many people. It's going to make it to where, having $100 million Lamborghini, one of one, is not even worth it. A mansion. You're going to realize that all of these things that you thought actually held value was worthless all along. So,
Yeah, one of the things I say is I was talking to my best friend. I said, man, when it comes to from a collective perspective, people always complain, oh, inflation is getting bad. And there's no more middle class, it's the working poor. I'd be like, I totally agree. But then I'd be like, what you gonna do about it? People always complain, but are never willing to make the real hard choices that separates the men from the boys from the gods. And one of those decisions is a lesson that I learned from Buddhism, which I practice still today. One of these pieces of wisdom is detaching. That's what Buddha believed. And really, shit, to a certain degree, even Yeshua or Jesus, some of y'all spoke about it, in the Bible, is attaching. That's why we suffer. Pain stuff that's going to cause you pain, that's always going to be here in life. But we choose to suffer by attaching to people, places, things, and especially ideas. I tell people, I don't care if you, I don't care if my best friend, I don't care if my father, my mother, I don't care if anybody gets me anything for Christmas. Because, like I say, even though I'm not a Christian, Christianity was created by corporations, to get money out of people, and it also has nothing to do with, nothing to do with Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, Yeshua was not born on December 25th. We don't know when he was born. A lot of that stuff goes back to Saturnalia and the Romans and ancient Babylonians, and they just mixed it. We could talk about that for 4 hours, and I could show you a great documentary on that too. But point I'm trying to say is just the idea, and I detach from it. Like I say, whether I'm in a relationship or not, I like, don't give me nothing for Valentine's Day. Don't give me nothing for Sweetest Day. Yeah, we can go on a trip, but also let's make some investments at the same time. We keep on thinking that, oh, we have to do this to show that we're happy. I'm like, man, money make me happy. Let's just call it for what it is. Being financially secure, like having some money, like I said, makes people really happy. Because if it didn't, then why is everybody trying to play the lottery? And I say, if everybody stopped playing the lottery and invested it into, like I say, like, look, Bitcoin, oh man, the world would be a different place. If we totally detached from the religion of consumerism in this country, people say the country would collapse. Yeah, temporarily, but long term, it actually be better if we were all financially responsible. Like I say, we didn't play the lottery, we didn't play FanDuel, we didn't buy expensive clothes. We all live below our means, and this is not idealistic. It's actually very practical, and pretty soon people are going to see what I'm talking about, to where it's like I say, for Black Friday, they're even saying now this Black Friday, it's been shrinking over the years in terms of revenue. Yeah, you see an increase in online spending, but overall, people, you can't afford it. And some people feel bad, or I wasn't able to participate in this. I'm like, bro, it's a ritual created by corporations to keep you poor. I don't feel bad that I didn't buy anything. The only thing I bought Black Friday was at Value World, some records from my record collection I got for $3. And it was already only 95 cents before, so I got them half off. I'm like, now look, that's a deal. That's a deal on top of a deal. And it's like, it's something that it ain't really gonna cost me. $3? What? Now people out here buying $500 purses and shoes. Oh, I got them for 250. Like, bro, you could have spent that on Bitcoin and really been ahead. Cause how long is it gonna take you to pay off that credit card that you use to pay for those shoes or that dress? How long is it gonna take you to pay off on that trip, especially with this buy now, pay later? They got buy now, pay later on DoorDash. They got buy now, pay later on trips and everything. And it goes back to what I said. People do not truly respect money. Like me, for example, I got a lot of access to credit right now, and we're in the midst of a recession. A job making 15 an hour, it's just a position that I'm in right now through my choices. But it is what it is, and I'm grateful for it. I say, you know what? You want to talk about job hugging? Well, I'm gonna hug this job until I get something else. Okay, boom, use that to change my situation even more. But in the meantime, like I said, I still got to do what I got to do. And I'm grateful for this. Like, I'm not about to spend money on my credit cards, like you say, from institutions that, like I said, I get the system of credit. It is useful, but it is designed to keep you enslaved, especially with the religion of consumerism that exists in our country. But I tell people, I got the credit that I have now for times like this. So now I can use it on keeping myself alive and to continue to make investments that I need. The to have a better tomorrow and for my loved ones if they choose to fuck with me or not. But most people will not do that though. Most people do not have the respect for the financial tools that are already here. Like I say, credit is a dirty game, but you have to use it for what it is. Even my mother said, you have to learn the rules so you know how to break them. And it is what it is. Like I say, why people spending $5,000 on a credit card and they got to pay off over time and the interest. I'm like, who? Well, now I only have to use that, let's say maybe for some groceries, and I don't be filling up my refrigerator like that. I only eat what I need to live and get all my nutrients. I'm not spending money on that. I'm trying to get ahead so that by the time I'm 60, where it's like I don't got to depend on Social Security. I don't have to depend on a 401k. I don't have to depend on any of these things. I'm 31 now and I can do that. And like I say, in the next 8 years or so. And I tell people it's possible, but it takes a sacrifice. And that goes back to what, when we played the video with Odell Beckham, is that you got to have respect for money. If you don't have no respect for money, you're gonna live a very unhappy life. They say you only live once. No, you live every day. You only die once, and people don't really think about that. Like when you wake up in the morning, boom, you live. Go to sleep, boom, wake up again, you live. But when you die, you don't get to come back. It's done. You only dying once. That should scare you even more. And you don't want to die knowing that, damn, I died with all this debt, student loan debt, credit card debt. I was broke as hell. I went on all them trips, but it's like now I'm in debt. I was damn near homeless, or am homeless, or I'm working some shit and it still ain't enough money. As opposed to, you know what? I lived below my means. I was humble. Yeah, people laughed at me for wearing shoes from wherever, but it's like, look, at the end of the day, I was comfortable. I made tough choices. I was able to increase my Bitcoin crypto account. I was able to live off that and help other people. Yeah, it took me some time, but I did it because I respected money. I saw the truth. And that's the point I always want to drive home with this, is that, there's really only a few pieces of wisdom in life that are eternal. Like they say, we can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. And one fact of life is that you just look at everybody who respects money. They live great lives. Now life is still gonna happen, but they know how to deal with it when it does. Like they say, I'd rather be crying in the back of a Rolls Royce than on the fucking street in a box. You know what I'm saying? Or getting your check garnished, from bad financial decisions, spending money that you don't have. Like I say, that's if it's any real religion, is that you gotta respect money. And like I say, anything I tell people is like you have to respect money. That's the thing I tell every child, every boy, girl, respect money, and it will respect you. Straight up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, bro. Like I said, just when you look at how dirty our money is, I get it if some people look at it and say, hey, that's not worth respecting. But at least what you have to do is understand that money is supposed to be a proxy. It's supposed to be a representation, a manifested representation of your time and your energy expended. And there should be a measurable way which that can be added up fairly towards what you should be compensated based off of what you contributed. And I just think that not a lot of us are aware of how this whole dynamic works. A lot of us are still kind of in the dark around how compensation works on a universal scale. So they say you get compensated in regards to three things: your the need for whatever it is you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty involved in replacing you. And a lot of us aren't in industries where it's difficult to replace us. A lot of us aren't Elon Musk. We're not Jeff Bezos. We're not Zuckerbergs. They deserve to absolutely be compensated the way that they're being compensated for their knowledge and skill set, expertise, time sacrificed, all of the books that they read, all of the knowledge they've accumulated. They deserve to be compensated in the way that they're being compensated. And I'll be the first to admit, uh, I've made some questionable purchases myself this year, and I actually would do it again. The only reason why is because there's gonna come a time in your life where you're gonna want to do something for yourself that's very selfish, and that could mean making a silly purchase. So someone might be like, "Cab, why the hell would you spend $50,000 on a goddamn Van Gogh painting?" And you like, I wanted it. I had the money to do it. I calculated I could have bought it 5 times, and I bought it. Not to mention what you bought is scarce, so it's going to hold its value, if not increase in value over time.
Exactly.
But
We
stuff
want
like that can also be taken into consideration. And just from an honest standpoint, me being overweight, me picking up weight has made me more insecure in different ways, and ways that I've had to consciously detect. So, buying more products, more fashion, wanting more name brand clothing, That stuff I didn't necessarily care about. So when you understand that money is inextricably linked to time, or supposed to be linked to time, and you understand that throughout human history, our ancestors have been able to take advantage of people's perception of time as well. Um, the reason why somebody buys a Lamborghini, or the reason why somebody buys a mansion, or the reason why somebody buys a $1 million watch, these are different ways of saving yourself time. So, you wonder, like, man, how was Biggie Smalls able to, pull a woman like Faith Evans? And basically by her knowing his status, his value in society, she understand that his leverage and his pull can save her time. He doesn't have to waste time trying to court her or spit game to her. She already knows who he is. She knows his reputation. She knows his pull. That saves him time. So it's all a game of time. How can I get my time back, and how can I save the most time? So our ancestors used to wear exotic furs, gold, and different regalia to basically communicate to observers what they had, or who they were, or what tribe they were a part of. And so, if you just didn't have it, you couldn't wear certain types of clothing. You were just, you were just blending in with the rest of the crowd. So luxury, like luxury items, were a way to make yourself stand out a little bit further, saving you time to climb the social hierarchy of things. Now, in the grand scheme of that, none of that actually matters, because if life is all about fulfillment, then who cares who accepts you for what they think that you have? Because 9 times out of 10, you're only going to build superficial relationships.
Right.
Uh, it's the same lie we tell beautiful women. We don't tell them the truth all the time because we have short term incentives that we would like to see satisfied. And so we don't tell them the truth. We lie to them their entire lives because of what, we think they have, or the status or the social circle that we think they're a part of. We fall in that trap all of the time. So I think fundamentally, we just got to get back to teaching our children and our friends and our family how to look at their time as money. Because if I walked into a Mercedes Benz dealership and I said, "Hey, I think I want this X S650," they're like, "Okay, that's going to cost you 9 years. You want it? I'm gonna extract 9 years away from your life." And that's a very different thought process than somebody telling you, "Okay, yeah, it's only gonna cost you $80,000." And you like, okay, 80,000, I could do that. But to know you're actually giving up 9 years of your time changes how you evaluate, that buying decision.
That's why car lease
So
is one of the worst financial decisions, investments in the world.
it's one of the only investments that turn itself upside down the minute you obtain it. That's a
Mhm.
scam within itself. So I mean, that's it, man. This video basically solidified where we are as a culture, as a black culture, and how we have little to no respect for money. So a lot of us do deserve to be in the positions that we are in, having little to no respect for it.
Nobody
But
would.
with Bitcoin, I'm able to put my money exactly where my mouth is. That's why the title of this series is "Give Your Life to Bitcoin." This is all gonna be a decision that we all have to make. And they say the name of all of our decisions, all of our financial decisions that did not include Bitcoin, will be called regrets. That is going to be the only name you can give those decisions. And to an extent, I already regret a lot of the financial decisions that I made. But
You don't even want to
that's
see.
all I got, man. That's it.
Like I say, I think about that every day. But like I say, like our brother Helios was saying, it is not really a loss if you learn something from it, and that's all that matters. But the key is learning. I'm like, okay, look here, man. Like I said, I'm 31. I learned this. I learned this now. Everything I've been through the past year, past 5 years. I'm like, okay, now that I know this, everything else, it's been my fault. But now, after what I've been through, like I said, I look at my cash, I'm like, damn, I fucking sent all that, and I'm like, all that, and add that, and carry the one. I'm like, okay, this cannot happen again because the world is getting very, 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 very scary, and it's like I say, I want to be on the not just on the right side of history, but I'm like, look, bro, when this ship sink, I got some dry land over there. I'm gonna be safe at. Y'all gonna drown. And I was like, I can't be with y'all. And if y'all don't want to come with me, cool. It's not so much about me being right and everybody else being wrong, whatever. It's like, look, bros, like I say, I went through this. You don't have to go through this. None of us have to go through this. We all can get a piece of this. But it's gonna take some sacrifices. It's gonna take the same things I say, with the philosophy I created, with the 7 principles. You have focus, patience, restraint, sacrifice, compromise, humility, and accountability. And when it comes to Bitcoin, you need all those 7 principles. You need to apply all of those when it comes to investing in Bitcoin. That's how you just gotta look at it, especially the sacrifice. Because I get it, like you say, humans are superficial. Want a nice pair of glasses, want to go on a date with a beautiful woman, but it's like it makes you think like, but I don't want to be broke. I don't want to go broke, proving that I'm not broke. Think about that. That's a paradox within itself. You going broke, proving it, trying to prove that you're not broke, but you broke. Or it's like you don't have it. You don't have it like that, and that's okay, bro. That's okay. You can have it like that, but it's gonna take some work. Because why should you, of all people, why should you have that? Everybody want that. What's gonna make you different? What choices are you gonna make that's gonna put you ahead of everybody else? Say, hey, you know what? Tom from Southfield, yeah, he deserves that. He deserves to have that way in that time frame, exactly how he wants it. What you gonna do about it? And financial freedom is no different. That's why I'm gonna close this by saying, look, everybody out there listening, for a whole year, no Christmas, no Valentine's Day, no Sweetest Day, no Black Friday, no Cyber Monday, no trips, no quick dopamine hit purchases, none of that. Live below your means. Live below your means, and I guarantee you, at the end of the year, see how much money you have, or why you doing this, or why you foregoing all that stuff. Like I say, dollar cost average in the Bitcoin. So think of the bullshit you want to spend, how much that costs. Fuck it. I'm gonna put it to there. You a gambling addict? Every time you feel like spending some money, you want to spend some money, put that in Bitcoin. And at least at least it's gonna grow over time, as opposed to, like, I had a coworker, he just told me he just spent 3 weeks worth of checks on FanDuel. His baby mama is pissed. I'm like, I would be too, nigga. You fucking up the church's money. Just $5, $5, $5, because you don't respect money. You going back and getting stuff, hoping for that one big payout. Bro, it's the devil's game. Bitcoin is God's game. But it's gonna both gonna cost something. Only difference, I'll tell people, the devil gonna make you think it ain't gonna cost much. No, God gonna tell you up front, oh nigga, this about to cost. You can have this, but it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you something. The devil make you think it's not gonna cost you everything. You're not gonna lose everything. It's just a little. Just give me a little bit of that, and you end up losing everything. With God, He says, "Look, give me all that, and I'm gonna give you even more." But that takes humility, and that takes patience, like I said. And like I say, you got to ask yourself, do you have the focus? Do you have the patience, the restraint, the sacrifice, the compromise, the humility, and the accountability to travel on this road with me, you, into this path, into this promised land we call Bitcoin?
Yes, sir. And with that, if you guys found this video helpful at all, if anything you've able to extract was valuable, make sure you give this video a like, share with somebody you care about, and make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Bitcoin related content. We'll see y'all on the next one. As always, peace.
Peace.